Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salamu ala al-ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen amma ba'd. Alhamdulillah, it is a great blessing and grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we have come to the masjid on a Thursday night, the night before the Friday, also following the sunnah and the instruction of the teacher to attend and to benefit from the majalis, especially the Thursday majlis, which is for the seeker who are actually traveling on the path of tazkiyah and the spirituality as well. So that in itself is a great blessing, inshallah, that we're able to, at least physically, are attending. The thing is, alhamdulillah, like over the years, how our teacher have slowly introduced and taught us the way, firstly, shown us the path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a physical sense, which is the purification course, and then the spiritual journey as well, and the muraqabah. And in this gathering, I believe everyone, if not most people, are actually versed and are practicing it. So really we sometimes should think and also thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this ni'mah we have in our life. It is said that when this ni'mah and blessings are received, then we should be really thankful for this. We should really be thankful for this and then translate that into some kind of action as well. So that at least minimum 3 things we should do are, for example, like, first of all, think and know that we do not deserve these blessings that we have. It is purely the fadl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the pure compassion and the love from the mashayikh and the teacher that they have actually shown us the whole path to his pleasure and closeness. And then another way of thanking that is then we should really preserve it. We should preserve it, meaning that acting upon it, implementing in our life, that's one way of preserving it, and to share with others as well. And also then appreciate the means through which we have received this blessing as well. Because this is really how, for example, the Mashayikh and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he has done. When the message is received, they preserved it, they shared it, and they made it a mission in their life. Whole life they spent until the final breath is actually, they made that as a mission. So it's not like a part-time thing. I have my life, I have business, I have this and that. And this is part-time on a Sunday afternoon. I've got half an hour spare or 3 hours spare. I'll do some tariq work. It should be ingrained in us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that it's in our mind, first of all, to benefit ourselves and others as well. And then everything else we do, work, family, all the other duties, they should fit around that. So the whole perspective, it should be a paradigm shift. Rather than looking at the whole aspect, is that, when I find time, I'm doing all these things. No, it should be our second nature almost. Our ingrained should be now, the path and tariq and dawah and so on. And then in that, obviously you have to live a life according to sunnah. And according to sunnah is to have obviously family, work, halal, have a house, supporting the family, looking after the relations, visiting them, and so on and so forth. But we shouldn't really have that attitude. We should actually have it on the reverse, how Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam have taught us. And one day we've learned, or even actually mentioned the titles of the different intellect and the mindset. The intellect of those who are evil people we know, or people who follow their own self, as well as the intellect of the awliya and the anbiya and the divine wisdom. So this is some of the wisdom that they have taught us, especially our teacher, is that how do you actually approach the whole thing? Because then if you compare a person who's quite regular, he's a simple brother, same brother, he's our fellow brother or same brother from the town, that how is he able to maintain all that and become consistent? And someone like me, I still have family, he has a family, I have work, he has work, maybe he's more busy, businesses and so on. But how can they maintain that? It's the mindset, it's that having the intellect, that how they actually plan and look at things. We plan that, everything else will do everything after I've done my personal things, my worldly things. It's still the same. You're still probably earning the similar amount, still having the same amount of food, you have children. So the engagement is the same. And the outcomes of that, what you get is the same. Maybe sometimes it's worse as well. Because of that, laziness sets in. And so what happens is that my deen is affected and my dunya is affected due to the laziness. Those people are normally active in deen. You'll find that they're quite active in dunya as well, because they want to make sure that this is okay, so I can then dedicate, which is my passion, which is the deen work, and to actually help people and myself. And they feel as though if this is not correct, my dunya, then that could drag me down. That could actually sideline me. So let's get that rectified, sorted, so that I can focus on my real passion, which I like, which is the path and the deen and to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's the mindset, that's the intellect we should really have. That what do we view? What is more priority? And really, like the Mashaykh have said, that the way we actually are concerned, we worry about our body. If you were concerning for our soul and spirit, then our whole outlook and our whole objective would change. The way that we can always worrying about our body, our physical health, our physical well-being, having that comfort and peaceful life. It's the same in that manner. If you were to think about our akhirah and our ruh, our spirit, then whole concept and the life and the mission would change as well. Even in that sense, in the physical sense, very few people are completely fit. Look at health, for example. And very few people, they eat healthy, they take 5 the fruits a day advised, they drink plenty of water as the scientist advises or the doctors advise. Very few people live like this very healthy lifestyle. But yet, people like ourselves and myself, yes, we do maybe eat unhealthily, maybe our lifestyle and so on is not very healthy. But at the same time, we are living, we are benefiting from the world. It's not completely we rejected it, so I don't care. And we're not on the streets and completely damaging ourselves with like evil or drugs or whatever else. We still live, although we're not perfect, so much mistakes we have. For example, one perfect way to live a life would be the sunnah way, to rest, at night time, 6-8 hours, then have another rest during the day, so that we are fresh, we're not tired. At least Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to sleep 3-4 times a day, sometimes a long period, sometimes shorter period as well. So our sleeping pattern is almost sometimes upside down. We're not sleeping at the right time, we're not waking up at the right time as well. But nonetheless, when it comes to physicality, maybe we are not fit. We hardly ever do any exercise. We don't eat the right amount of food and so on. Maybe sometimes just fast food all the time. But yet, we are enjoying our life. We are living. Maybe it's not perfect. So then, why can't we just apply the same concept in comes to religiosity and deen as well? Why is it that Shaitan puts this thought in us that we have to be perfect, do everything perfect? If there's any shortcomings or less than that, then just leave it all. So like, for example, maybe I'm not healthy, I'm not fit, and so on. I'm not eating healthily and so on. But at the same time, I'm not damaging myself, am I? Taking like 10 paracetamols a day or taking drugs because I don't really care about my health now because then I'm not fit anyway, so might as well just destroy it. Normally, vast majority of people are not doing that. They still have certain sense of, okay, let's just do as best we can. Not to take something that is very dangerous or harmful for the body. Likewise, in a religious sense, then we should think, okay, maybe I should be doing this, I should be doing that, and make a list of it. I should be praying 5 daily prayers in Jama'ah, in the masjid. I should be doing my adhkars, morning and evening. I should be doing my purification course, the daily zikr, the muraqabah that we've been taught. And my contact with people should be right. How do we interact with them? I should be nice and compassionate. In a full list, idealistic life we should live. And then you compare our daily life, there's so much weakness, so much shortcomings, so much mistakes. And what happens is, and that's one of the faults of the seeker, like myself and ourselves, is that because we fall short or we compare, what happens is we go to the other extreme. What extreme is that? We just leave everything. Oh, it's not working out for me. I just live as I want to live, and it doesn't really matter now because I can't fulfill it. So that's a wrong concept. Shaitan actually, derail us. Because if you look at our normal life, we don't completely go and, like, for example, sleep 24 hours because I've missed my morning appointment. It doesn't matter now. Forget eating lunchtime or evening time. Forget going out and seeing people or do some shopping. Today I'm going to sleep full 24 hours a day until the next day. I don't really care. Very few people do that who are maybe illness or there's some kind of mental instability. But by and large, majority of the people, what do? They still get up and carry out the rest of the task, even if they have one obstacle or one upheaval, one mistake. Likewise, especially in the path, the one greatest barrier people have, why they're not progressing in the purification course, why they're not taking, is this. They expect perfection, as they maybe hear from someone else, or they read the awliya and story, and they compare themselves, and they say, oh, I'm actually weak here. I made a mistake here, I made a mistake there. So what's the point? Let's just leave here, close the book, and just do my normal life, carefree life. It doesn't matter now. That's the mistake we are making. Because the person, like I said, who's unfit, who's not very healthy, he still lives a relatively comfortable life. Religiously, or especially in tariq, we can also live that life. Okay, we're not awliya, we're not perfect, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not looking for that. But at least we can do the bare minimum, the basic which we can do. Still, spiritually we are alive. Our spirit, our soul does not die as a result of that inaction. Because sometimes it could happen to the point where we abuse ourselves so much spiritually sometimes that we really harm ourselves. And then many of those people find it really hard to come back up again. Some people for never. Some people maybe after 6 months or 1 year or 5 years. Because they miss this concept that, okay, I'm not perfect, yes, I'm making a mistake. So for example, like, you woke up, you were late for Fajr today. You completely, missed you put the alarm off and you went to sleep and you carried on. You wake up at 10 o'clock and think, oh, what's the point? I missed my Fajr today. That means I'm doomed now. So then these people start missing his Zuhr now. Well, what's the point? Because I missed Fajr already. So someone who observing that would say, no, wait, hold on. Okay, you missed Fajr, that's fine. It's a mistake. Do Tawbah, do the qada of Fajr. But don't miss your Zuhr as a result of that mistake. Don't miss your Asr. Don't miss your Maghrib or Isha. Anyone would advise that. But similar mentality as this is what we do. Oh, I made a mistake today. That means I'm an evil person. So let's just put everything to one side and just carry on. Just live your life, enjoy yourself. So example like, let's say someone doing an eye sheet. And in the morning or earlier in the night, he ended up watching something wrong on the internet. And then later he feels, oh, I've done a mistake now, poor cross. But then, if he then goes around watching something wrong with it, on the internet or on TV all day long, then he's actually causing more and more harm and damaging so much that it's very hard for him to come back up. But if he just realizes at that moment, okay, I've made a mistake now, I'll do Tawbah, but at least for that day, I don't want to do that mistake again. So although you go back to your sheet, for example, you put a cross. So sometimes people have this mentality, oh, today is a cross, so might as well enjoy today, I'll start from tomorrow. I'll watch all the evil things on TV and do all the evil things that I normally don't do because it's a cross already, so it's a loss. But in reality, it's not. There's a spirit behind it. That yes, on the tick sheet, how it's designed and the purification course, outwardly is a cross. But if you still maintain the adab and not to do that mistake with the eye whole the day, you are still benefiting. Remember in the purification course, when you put a tick, you're a winner. When you put a cross, you're still a winner. Only time you're a loser is when you completely give up and say, I don't care anymore. You don't even bother ticking whatsoever. So even if you make a mistake, outwardly it's a cross on your tongue sheet for that day. But if you still maintain that whole throughout the day until the next day, you will still get certain blessings, certain benefits. Because again, spiritually and mentally, you're still training yourself not to do that mistake. So come tomorrow, you'll be better at it. So for example, like we know in Ramadan, if you eat by mistake, forgetfulness, they completely forgot you had a full plate of meal, and then you realize. Unless this person doesn't know the masala that your fasting is not broken. Because he thinks that it doesn't matter now. And then he goes out, has a milkshake from the shop, and people say, what are you doing? He goes, oh, I've broken my fast already. He said, no, now you've broken it because you think you've broken, but until then, if you carried on not eating anymore, then your fast is valid. Even at the point where the mashayikh and the awliya and the ulama have said that even if someone intentionally broken a fast, now that's very extreme. Many people do that unfortunately as well. Intentionally you have someone ate in the morning. It is still adab, ulama explain, And our teacher have mentioned that it is still adab that this person should not eat and hold himself back until Maghrib and iftar time. You must say, what's the point? Because he's broken his fast. But the point is, because of that, showing the respect and adab of not eating in the month of Ramadan for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he or she will still get certain blessing of following this adab, even when he's broken the fast. Now, you can't give more extreme example than that, where someone has broken the fast now, so it doesn't matter if he eats or not. Even then, if he, out of respect, because it's month of Ramadan and his fasting is farz, and because of the respect for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he does not eat, he restrains himself until the time of iftari, then you still get certain blessings for doing this, although he's made a major mistake. So then what to say about all the other aspects we do in life, or the other mistakes, especially if it's not our fault. So that's the reason, that sometimes we fall back as well, because the shaitan puts the thought that we have to be completely perfect. If, for example, we are making a mistake, we're making sin, we're making tawbah, we're going back to the sheets, we're taking them again, but again mistake happens, sometimes we go off the rail, we come back. If that life continues like that, then inshallah, like our teacher said, this person is still successful. Maybe he's not the level of awliya and the high level of the friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but he'll still be successful in the hereafter. He'll still become yab. Why is it said in the world of, in the day of judgment that if the scale of good deed is heavier than the scale of evil deed, he's successful? Mentioned in the Quran. Why is it? He doesn't say that, he's got zero. He's got no weight in the sin in the bad scale, is it? He said if the good scale is heavier, so that means he has some bad. He does mistake now and then. Even, for example, maybe he abuses someone now and then, he swears, he doesn't control his eyes, he does something and it's very silly. But if he doesn't remain there, say, okay, that's fine, I've made a mistake, I do tawbah, Allah's merciful, let's come back to my original plan, to my task, then inshallah, by that practice again and again, he or she will be successful, inshallah. He will enter Jannah by Allah's mercy and grace. So then what are we losing out? We know of ourselves, we know awliya are going to be perfect. Only the anbiyas and the angels are free from sin. And high-level awliya, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives them certain protection. Or they very quickly, if they make a mistake, very quickly they return back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A special quality they have. But apart from that, we're all sinful and making mistake at many levels anyway. So really, people are really struggling, and sometimes people speak to us at a one-to-one or personal level as well. I know many people are doing great work of deen, but when it comes to tick sheet, they said, I'm in red, I'm not doing anything. Have you done your tongue sheet? No. Have you done your mind sheet? No. Have you done a spiritual salah sheet? No. Have you done your... Well, you've not done anything. It's as though you've not started your journey. You've been there for 10 years. Have you ever done it before? No. And yet you're doing great work of deen. So there's something not right here. Why not? It's not impossible. It's not too simple. It looks easy to do. When you actually go through it, it actually needs effort and requirement. But at the same time, it is not impossible. All the brothers who are here, mashallah, and the sisters who have gone through certain, at least the first 7 organs, first stage, it's not impossible. But why is it that it's that mentality? Oh no, I've done it 2 days and I made a mistake. Then a whole day I made a mistake. Then I have to start again. And I thought, no, so what's the point? And I just left it to one side. And then I'm doing other things, maybe work of the DEEN, dawah, and so on. But then I actually analyze myself. Why am I getting angry? Why can't I work with people? Why am I so much frustrated? Why didn't I have the peace and the sukoon in my heart? And then when you look behind the veil of all this veil, I would say, of this work I'm talking about, or this dawah work I'm doing, or the admin work I'm doing for masjid or whatever, there's actually a fault behind that. We've not taken the personal journey seriously. Yes, alhamdulillah, doing dawah work is it's a work of the anbiya and the awliya, and every one of us are responsible for this. But know that our personal journey is as important, if not more important. If that's dead, then eventually, maybe not immediately, you'll see the effect happening in 6 months' time, in 8 months' time, in a year's time, in 5 years' time. Well, almost you even say to yourself, and I feel like I'm a hypocrite. I'm telling everyone all this thing, I'm teaching everyone this, For myself, I don't actually find any sukoon. There is no connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's no love. There's no connection to salah. I find my salah is burden. I hardly perform my salah on time, or I'm struggling with this. So everyone has, it's not just because a person come new from the tariq, from the street, he's suffering. Many people at different level, at different background, go through this as well. And why am I mentioning this? Because at one-to-one discussions, obviously we cannot reveal in public as well, but one-to-one discussions, you find these things that are coming out. And then, they come to the spiritual retreat or the Thursday gathering, and they say, oh, I can't see. I'm still blind, I can't see, I'm not opening up. What's my problem? What's my blockage? And so normally when they see the ustad, they say, okay, first blockage is, how's your purification course going? Oh, well, no, I've started 6 years ago, I'm still doing it. And then he asks us, well, where are you? Or first stage. He's very shy and ashamed to say that first. Okay, which organs have you completed? Oh, I've only done one. Actually, okay, so now you're saying, well, then you ask, what blockage do I have? Really, these openings, in reality, in olden days, it only happened after completing the 3-4 stages of purification. Many people would come to the mashayikh and the shayukh and the spiritual masters, where they've actually completed the 3-4 stages already by themselves. And there they just needed a spark of permission and ignition by the spiritual masters for them to then continue that journey. Now imagine in this day and age, as a special mercy, and you could say it's a miracle, it's actually a karamat of especially our teacher, that this has been introduced en masse, that anyone, if they follow certain instructions, they can experience. So that hopefully by that experience, his life is changed, and then they go back to this origin, which is the amal part, the part that we have to implement in our life, and physically then be present to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in tazkiyah and purification. So everyone, we can analyze this. I was just listening to one of the bayans of Hazrat Sahib, that everyone can know, and today could do an acid test now, that if you find it burdensome, and if it's hard for you to offer Fajr Salah and Isha Salah, know that you have a problem. You don't have to say anything else. You don't have to see any starts for a blockage. You don't have to mother them. You can self-diagnose now that if you're really struggling and it's a burden to wake up for Fajr, especially nowadays, people are working, then mashallah, it's a mission for them because they have to wake up after 3 hours, then go to bed, then wake up again at 6 o'clock to go to work. But if there's no love, there's no pull towards Salah, there is not passion to go to the offer Salah, yet it's just a burden. And I'm lucky if I'm praying once a week for just Salah, let alone Jama'ah, but even at home. And Isha is also a burden as well. Then it's a sign that, unfortunately, we have nifaqat, some level of hypocrisy in our heart as well. So that always naturally shows, then we still need to do our tazkiyah as well in the purification course. And that's why, in fact, our teacher says that having this one-to-one to rectify, it becomes fard ayn for that seeker as well. Not in terms of Islam, but in terms of tazkiyah. It becomes first for you to do one-to-one, to rectify yourself. Come to the Thursday majlis, it becomes like a wajib. Come to the Monday majlis, it's like a sunnah. And then any special gathering come once a year or whatever, special gathering, they're like the nawafil, or the recommendatory acts. Going to the special gathering, maybe Durood Majlis on the 27th night of Ramadan. Yeah, it's good, mashallah. You get certain benefits and blessing. But there may be a nawafil, but we're missing the faraid as well. So we should really why we're mentioning this, because alhamdulillah, we want to experience spiritually and we should be at that level. But unfortunately, I'm included in this, that sometimes our basics are not covered. There's so much lackness there, and so much like a basket with holes in them, and we're losing everything that we're gaining, and we're not really advancing. So one thing you should really test yourself. You don't have to tell me, I don't have to tell you, that how is my Fajr and my Isha? Analyze yourself. And if you're, mashallah, quite steadfast, mashallah, if you can't go, maybe sometimes you can't because of your work or the commitment, then yeah, I am doing my Fajr without a miss, for Isha without a miss. Whenever I am free, I am going to the masjid offering that. Then alhamdulillah, then you can analyze other aspect. But that's the first hurdle. If that hurdle you're falling over, then you know that you got a major issue going on. You need to rectify, inshallah. So with this, inshallah, we conclude. Is there any quick question about this purification course? So I'll give you one example. Okay, Salah. the spiritual salah we meant to do. I'm not talking about the spiritual ascension salah. I'm talking about the concentration, having the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The 10 levels of spiritual salah that we do in purification course. Let's say the baby level, the foundation level is that you should have the thought, Allah is with me, Allah is seeing me, Allah is hearing me, once in each posture, in all the namaz we do, from Fajr till Isha. Now what happens is, there's a mistake what people do. There may be, they practice that in Sunnah prayer Fajr, and they made a mistake, the thought goes away, and they feel disappointed, oh, I've missed it. So what happens, I have to go back to my book and put a cross, because Fajr Salah is affected now. So that's a mistake we do. This same principle applies to, let's say, the eye sheet or a tongue sheet or whatever sheet we are doing. What you should look at is every salah you do, Fajr, Sunnat, Fajr, Farz, all the Sunnat and Farz throughout the day, treat them as individual salah. Treat them as individual salah. If you make a mistake on your Sunnah, that's fine. Start your Farz prayer as though there's no mistake. You have potential to achieve 100% success. For Fajr, in the 2 rakat Fajr we do, for example. Then try. If you made a mistake, okay, I have to put across my sheet. Yes, it's a design like that. But spiritually, in one sense, and training point of view, training our mind and heart, that doesn't stop. When it comes to Zuhr, you still have the same effort. As though Zuhr is fresh, you got no mistake, you got full potential to do and 100% mark in that. So when you do your Sunnah prayer of Zuhr, try your best to attain that level 2 or level 3, whatever of spiritual salah you are doing. You made a mistake, that's fine, that's finished. Look at the Farz prayer now as a separate entity. It's a completely separate opportunity now again. Try it there. Then the Sunnah after Zuhr Salah, try it there again. Then again, when it comes to Asr Salah, same procedure. Then Maghrib, then more Sunnat of Maghrib, then Isha, Sunnat, Farz, and so on, the Witr as well. Because if you continue, although there's a cross for that day, if you continue like that, very soon you realize you're actually advancing. You're putting more ticks and crosses on your sheet. And that same principle applies when it comes to tick sheet. Or I've actually swore at someone. Someone made me angry. My younger brother said something. I got so angry and I said something bad to him. And I intended it as well. I really wanted to hurt him by saying something bad. So that's a cross today. What's the point? And then I started going to my mates. I'm start swearing at him because he did that to me a few days ago. I held myself back, but today I'm going to let it go because I've got a cross on my sheet already. Then you find someone, your neighbor, oh yeah, today you're on my firing line as well because I'm on the roll. I'm on the roll today, yeah? I'm going to let it all out. That's the wrong attitude. Okay, you made a mistake by saying something to your younger brother, but whole day still refrain yourself and restrain yourself. Like the example of Ramadan, fasting in Ramadan, or people or person who eats intentionally, if you still carry on, you get the blessing of that training, that process of not saying anymore. Then you start again tomorrow, you see much better. Because for one, you identify the mistake that, oh, this person, when I'm angry, I really let it out. I say something which is wrong. So then tomorrow, I make sure that I don't do that anymore. So that training, you learn that experience of making that mistake. But at the same time, you're still carrying on the process. The process should not stop just because you put a cross from that day. So that's why when the Mashaykh says putting a cross is a benefit, is because of this. Because despite you putting a cross on the sheet, you're not giving up the effort for that day or for that week. You're still carrying on. And Allah is most merciful. He might even accept it. He might turn it into a goodness in a spiritual sense, in reality. Because remember the tick sheet at the outer, the body of it. The reality, the light, the realm is behind that. It's a light, it's a nur from the heart. That still could continue and you will be blessed with. Remember the person who killed 99 person, he still continued. He could have said, well, what's the point? I've killed 99 people and it'll be impossible for me to go find that one person's family and pay the blood money or whatever else, even harsher punishment. And I've killed 99, what's the point? I might as well just call it quits and go home and then just have kebab until I die. But no, what happened? He still pursued the process. But internally, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has such mercy, He forgave him. Although in his tick sheet, if he has a sheet, he said he violated the tongue, he violated the hands, the feet, all 7 is a cross, isn't it? If you kill someone, it's a cross on all 7 sheets, not just one. But still he carried on. And reality is that Allah forgave him. So that's what he said, that although you put a cross on the sheet, But if you continue, don't give up, you're still benefiting from it as well. Because very quickly you can master that in the future as well, inshallah. So on this, I know many people do ask, is there any question regarding this? And anything that you come across which is obstacle, or I find this hard to complete the task because I'm making this mistake. You don't have to mention your own self, just generalize the question, you can ask, inshallah. Because although we're focusing more on spirituality aspect, but these are the foundations. So if the foundation is weak, then everything else will be weak as well. So it's also important to make sure that we are actually rectifying that as well, inshallah. Ji.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So if a person hasn't taken the sheets for a while, how can this, what's the process of sort of starting again on that sort of particular sheet?
Achha. So for that would be, is how long, well, so then like I advise is, you should practice the farda'ain, which is to see his ustad and say what's going on. That's the best thing. But generally I would say it depends. If you just, you left it for a week because you're so busy at work and doing things, mentally you still kept up with it, that you didn't do any mistake by knowingly and so on, then you can go back and fill the sheet up. Well, so there's two different aspects, isn't it? One aspect is I completely, and I've left it. I'm not even bothering taking the sheet, it's not even in my psyche anymore. I've done it maybe 5 years ago, but I think I've not even completed. I only did, let's say, 4 organ sheets, 3 still left. In that case, it's very advisable that you should see the ustad and they advise what to do. Maybe you need a revamp. Then maybe most likely your the tazkiyah zikr which is given, daily la ilaha illallah, Allah, Allah zikr, whichever, maybe that's affected as well. You're not doing that. Then in that case, you need a revamp. But if you're those that I'm quite regular, alhamdulillah, and mentally I'm quite you could say, aware of it, what to do, not to do. But it's been a week, I haven't had a chance to partake, but I know these 7 days I've not done any mistake. Obviously, mistake could happen. We're not innocent. We're not completely free from sin. But then that's fine. You can pick up your, like I say, pieces and carry on. But if you're those that, no, I've left it for the last 6 months, I've got no idea where I am. I don't even know if I've done the first stage or the third stage or the second stage. Some people, they once asked me, goes, I've even forgot how to do the sheets. It's been that long. I said, did you complete it? Because no, I haven't. I left halfway and I've even forgotten how to do the sheets anymore. And then he goes, I've tried to do it myself and I find it hard. As well, in that case, it will be quite obvious then. You will find it hard. You have to now refresh everything in that case. Ji, anyone else? Yeah, brother, is it, what's his name? Qasim. But then you have to be honest to yourself. In exams, some people they do cheat and they bring a piece of paper or these Google glasses. They switch it on, they see if they can do the cheat on the exam paper. Here you can't really cheat because Allah is aware. You might put all the ticks in your box, but then if you make a mistake and you're not admitting to it, then you're just fooling yourself. Not yourself person, I'm just saying you in plural sense, inshallah. So be honest and be very clear as well. If you're sure, like you're saying, mashallah, that by choice or by knowingly you have kept up with it, you forgot to take because you're so busy, then that's fine. Go back and take and carry on, inshallah. Okay. Gee, anyone else before you finish? I think, inshallah, like I said, many ustads are here, like Ustad Imam Qais and others are here. They're always providing free service. They don't even charge you for it. But you don't take the opportunity. Maybe they should start charging £50 for every half an hour. Then, inshallah, maybe you will get more value to it as well. Inshallah. So, inshallah, because the work of the Mashayikh, they never charge a single penny. The reward lies with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Anbiya, that's how they did. So all our ustad and they're like so as well. They don't charge single penny. Even if you offer them, they'll chase you out. They say, never come to me again with the money. Inshallah. Inshallah, we're going to start the muraqabah. So the muraqabah is, inshallah, we'll do the lataif transfer. And mashallah, as our teacher is already in Medina Sharif as well, when you transfer, find the teacher and spend time in Medina Sharif whilst they're physically there as well. Spiritually, we try to be there with them. Just spend time where they are now, maybe seek some advice and guidance, any advice or guidance while they're away, or since Ramadan that I've been lacking, I've been quite good in Ramadan, and doing a sin wasn't a question in Ramadan. And doing 5 daily prayer wasn't a question. It was quite easy. But everything's creeping back now. I feel as though I'm going back to my own lives. For this, yes, do see a ustad if this is the case. But spiritual as well as extra blessing, you can also seek mushwara from the mashayikh as well, and especially the Hazrat Sahib teachers that they're there, inshallah. Okay, Jazakallah. So inshallah, as I was saying, inshallah, because those who have not traveled to Umrah while the teacher is there, there's amals you could do, the Medina Sharif amal, which is in the leaflet, which I think the Gulfam has sent to everyone, 1/4. So primarily that is just reciting the Durood Sharif. The different Duroods mentioned as well. So inshallah, once you Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim Malik Yawmiddin Ihdina as-sirata So inshallah, just do the 3 muraqabas, the humbleness, thankfulness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the reliance on Him. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أستغفر الله وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله وأتوب إليه اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد وعلى آل إبراهيم اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم السلام عليك أيها النبي 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 ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله 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 لا إله إلا الله 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 محمد رسول الله. So inshallah begin with the first stage purification, which is the first one. The name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As we breathe in, light is coming through and penetrating us, and as we breathe out, leaving from the mouth and leaving all the darknesses, inshallah. Then after that, after about 3-4 minutes, then move into the second stage purification, which are the individual ones, 7 ones. Go through each one, and then the third stage, which is the final breath, body disappearing, latai disappearing, body, speech body appearing, transfer, find the teacher, and then continue this miraj. So this lataif aspect spend about 15-20 minutes or so, and then after that another maybe 20 minutes, 25 minutes for the muraqabah, inshallah. Bismillah. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Mawlana Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Mawlana Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Mawlana Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa sallim. Alhamdulillah, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. So inshallah, you can slowly return back and open your eyes, inshallah, relax. So we got plenty of time, so inshallah I do encourage feedback from brothers. Unfortunately, last Thursday, hardly anyone gave any feedback. So it's encouraged that everyone should to say whatever experiences you have. Especially if you don't have any experience, you're struggling, then we are actually more interested from you. Because after coming for a period of time, you should be able to follow. If you cannot, then please also mention as well.
It's an opportunity for those who want to volunteer first, and then if not, then we'll just pick some brothers, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
I had no problems with the cleansing process and the transfer. I found the teacher and we went straight to Medina Sharif. We began to recite Durood outside the Rawda Mubarak, and then the door opened for the Rawda Mubarak. We went down the stairs and we then saw the white dome. We entered through that and we saw the blessed grave of the Prophet ﷺ. The light was emanating from that, and then the Prophet ﷺ appeared himself in person, and he gave some nasiyah in relation to, he said that the teacher does not have long left and the work of dawah must continue, and the true test for all of us will be is when the teacher is not physically present in this world. He then said that we should continue to remind people of Ramadan and the state that they were in and try to get them back to that state as much as possible, and that we should continue this reminder of Ramadan throughout the next few months, not just simply wait like 1 month is passed and now we forget about Ramadan ourselves. Because if you can get people back reminding of that state, there's more chance that they will continue on the straighter path. And the Prophet ﷺ also said that me and my wife currently have the fadl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala currently upon us, and there's not many husband and wives who get that together at the same time, and that we must continue together to seek
on the path to see the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah, Mubarak, MashaAllah, beautiful experience. Have you been having this before or? Okay, MashaAllah, good. So Alhamdulillah, it is a blessing. Like I said, all the blessing, like we mentioned earlier, that we should be thankful, appreciative. Thank the means through which for example, the teacher, and implement in our life and then make a mission. And the many things mentioned, obviously, the teacher is trying their best, going all around the world, trying to convey the message. So we have to be serious. So one thing is, no point be just wait and feel sad and so on. We have to be serious and do our part much as we can as well. I mean, if they can sacrifice their time, their life, their everything, and go around the world, their family and everything else as well. So at our own level, we should also think how much we can do, how much we can go to convey the message. Whatever skill, whatever qualities I have been given or I have, utilize that. Because not everyone's the same. Some people have the ability to speak and explain, that they've got the oratory skills. They should use that for that purpose. Those who are good at khidmat or organizational administration, then utilize that skill as well for deen and for paths to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to help people facilitate. So in one sense that is encouraging yourself and all of us that we should get on with it. Because this life of this world is temporary anyway. No one's going to live here in 100 years' time. So now it's 2019, 2119, hardly anyone's going to be around. By then, maybe our children or great-grandchildren or grandchildren will be around, but none of us. And obviously, alhamdulillah, like you said, it's a blessing that when husband and wife, remember the marriage that takes place really is to attain taqwa. Is to help each other to attain taqwa. It's a sunnah. And inshallah, if you're on the path now, helping each other to attain taqwa and closest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So you could say, the purpose of marriage, you're actually going towards the fulfilling that, inshallah. You should rejoice. Like, many community, now in the communities, people are really struggling to do the basics between husband and wife. There's so much issues and difficulties. Yourself maybe witness to that as well, in the previous life as well. So you can see so much barakah and blessing by coming to the tariq and deen, that, how the lives have been transformed, where you were, what happened in the past, and now, it is truly, you could see miracles. People go to marriage counselors. I know people go and they spend £100 each session. People spend 20, 30 sessions. You could also maybe tell better stories than ourselves, and still it's upheaval, and worst thing, what happens is they separate. So not only you living peacefully now and mashallah having a very beautiful family life, but you're also going towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and fulfilling that role as well. So it's truly it's an honor and a privilege, and it's a blessing to be thankful for and to utilize, inshallah. So inshallah, Mubarak, mashallah, continue and inshallah do as much as you can, and inshallah focus on the individual journey, the tazkiyah and purification, because that's very important as well. Jazakallah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
I had transferred and met Hazrat Sahab at Medina Sharif, where they were wearing a white jubba and a green chadar. Hazrat Sahab had mentioned that you need to stay steadfast and sincere whilst we were outside Medina Sharif. We went inside where the Jali Mubarak is, and we began to read Durood Sharif. And then we went downstairs to where the Prophet ﷺ is buried. And I could see the grave glowing and it was smelling nice. Then I returned to my body.
MashaAllah. Mubarak, mashallah, continue. So each muqam, like in Medina Sharif spiritually, it has a meaning as well. So each muqam, they're not just place, for us it's just place, like pillar here, carpet here. But spiritually, each muqam, when you achieve or arrive, it has a meaning. So when you reach very close proximity outside the Jali Mubarak, so that has a meaning. And one of the meaning, for example, you heard about you should be steadfast now. MashaAllah, you have achieved, you're continuing. Now it's a matter of keeping it up, maintaining it. As steadfast, this means that no matter what happens, just carry on and keep up that, inshallah, whatever you're learning and benefit, inshallah. So that's one blessing that we've received, and for yourself, to remind yourself and continue, mashallah. Yeah, but mashallah, beautiful experience that you have.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
The lataif process went well, and as I went through the lataifs, the tingling feeling always increases.
What increased?
The tingling feeling.
Okay. The feeling is fine, but in terms of process, were you able to do them?
Yeah.
You just said that it wasn't very good or something.
Yeah, I did it.
Okay. Okay, that's fine, yeah, okay.
I transferred and found the teacher at Masjid Nabi sitting on the red carpet. I sat down next to them and gave my salam. We then recited some durood for a few minutes, and so much light was coming from the sky, and angels were also descending and began reciting durood. They then said, "You are on a long journey, and like a journey in a car, you have to stop and fuel up every so often, or else you can't travel any further."
So you said that you have to stop and
Fuel up.
fuel up.
Likewise, your amals is the fuel in this journey to Allah Azza wa Jal and His Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Also on this journey there will be many tests. The friends of Allah Azza wa Jal know a person's true potential, but the shayateen also know a person's potential. Likewise, they plan an attack with those with potential with full force. So sometimes this can be a great sign because with trials and tribulations, one excels to the pleasure of Allah quicker than others. They then said, performing amals is a great reward in the sight of Allah because one is re-establishing his connection with Allah and His Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and preserving it, and this shows if a person is sincere because they value the iman they have, so they either want more or they preserve the one they have. We then recited more Durood Sharif, and so much light was coming down upon us. As we recited, the scene faded.
Okay, mashallah, beautiful again, Mubarak, mashallah, beautiful experience, so much nasihat. Most of it is quite self-explanatory, that yes, with any journey you need fuel and you need actually to continue with the journey. And spiritual fuel is the amals that you do. And that is why even in the purification course, one thing is doing the tick sheet, but what does it help is when you're actually doing the dhikr and the cleansing process is taking place. And that two together really works, like a body and the engine is there, and it takes you to a destination. So it's always the case we should keep up with our amals, rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not on our amals, but rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but outwardly do the amals as well. That helps you along. So that's one of the key message we've taken from many blessing, mashallah, you mentioned, is to keep up with that. And obviously, because we are journeying towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His closeness and His pleasure, then naturally the shayateen and the evil, they will step up the gear in terms of trying to derail us or put us off the course as well. So that's natural when someone's becoming more stronger, the enemy or the opposition becomes stronger as well. And so everyone is tested at their own iman. So when the test comes, it's almost telling you that, as a young person, these things will come. Don't get too disheartened why this is happening to me. I used to be, for example, I'll give you an example, like I used to be so steadfast, I used to do this, like a clockwork. I had no issue. Everything was running fine. Now I can't seem to do the basics. I'm just different scenarios mentioning these things could happen. And in those moments, you should remember this guidance and advice that, look, the test will come. What you have to do is what we discussed earlier, that rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and seek help. So it's like a person, when they're going about the life, it's fine, mashallah, they're doing well. Okay, they're not maybe 100% fit, but they're still okay, they're living a life. But sometimes an illness comes, virus or a bacterial infection. It becomes so hard that then you have to go and see a doctor or get hospitalized, get treatment. And this could happen. I cannot guarantee you that you'll never fall ill. And you can't guarantee me that, until I die, this will happen. But that doesn't make me stop living my life, does it? Oh, no, I'm going to fall ill, so I just have to stay home, stay clean and very hygienic place so that nothing touches me. You can't live a life. You have to go out, you have to work, you have to study and so on. We have to be aware. But if it does happen, then always remember there's hospitals out there, there are doctors, GPs out there who will support you and help you, inshallah. Likewise, spiritually, when test comes and you feel as you're falling or things happening or it's out of control or you've been finding it very hard, and many people go through this, I was doing well, but because of this brother or that family or this person, I'm getting put off on the path. Just a scenario. And people don't understand this is just a test, just to make you stronger, to go over that barrier. And therefore, in those moments, rather than fighting yourself or saying, giving up, at that moment, that's when you need the ustad, the teacher, to give you that support. Because that support will be so invaluable that will save you maybe 5 years of heartache and headache. And this has happened many times, with us and so on, that if he actually sort of advised and did mashwara at the right time with the ustad, they could have saved me from such a headache that I had to go through myself. Then discover, oh yeah, the answer was there from the beginning. So things will happen, tests will come, but not to be fazed by that. Seek and benefit from the help that's available, and just continue, inshallah. Rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't worry about too much all the mishap that takes place, or in the future or in the past. But rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Continue, and don't have too much expectation that I have to be perfect. That's something else people do wrong as well, inshallah. So much if you reflect upon these things, what's been said earlier, and now you'll see the answer is there, which basically give you like a weaponry or armory to deal with it in the future as well, inshallah, as you go through different stages of life, inshallah. Okay, jazakallah. Inshallah. Anyone else? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
So when I was doing the lataif process, it was the red lataif, and it was like as if blood was coming out of it.
What coming out?
Blood.
Blood, okay.
So yeah, the blood was coming out the red lataif. And as I was doing the lataifs halfway through, Hazrat Sahib appeared. And then when I'd done the final breath, the golden breath, I transferred. I met Hazrat Sahib, and
so in your lataif, you met Hazrat Sahib. Were they just with you or advising, or just they were present? You were present with them?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I met Hazrat Sahib when I done the golden breath, and then we went to Masjid al-Nabawi, and I could see the green dome. And then, in an instance, the scenes changed to Jahannam, and my body started to get heated up, and I could see people, their faces were scarred up, and they was shouting, "Help, help," and they were screaming, and they were putting their arms up, asking for help, but they couldn't receive any. And then, the scene changed again from there. It was like I was in Jannah, and then there was flowers, beautiful flowers, full of noor everywhere. And then I asked Hazrat Sahib, I need a solution because I'm failing in one of my organs. And the solution was at the beginning where they showed me Jahannam, a scene of Jahannam. And they said the thing about a servant and their creator is that, and the Awliya Allah, is that Allah stays and the Awliya Allah stays, but it is us who run away, but they remain. And then they started crying as well, and I physically started crying as well a bit while doing this ascension, and it just ended there. Assalamu alaikum, jazakallah.
MashaAllah, it's a very big lesson, huge lesson is given here. That really, like the Hazrat Sahib says, that in this world, really Jannat and Jahannam is waiting for us. Whenever we do good deeds, then the Jahannam is created, is waiting for us. Whenever we do evil deed, it's as though the certain place is created for us and is nominated that, and if you end up like that, then you'll go there. So both option is shown to yourselves. And you know your weakness, like you're mentioning, indicating the red latifa as well, that the choice is yours. You either go to the evil place which you saw, or the good place you saw at the end. The choice is yours, and also solution is given that those who really fail are those who actually move away from the support of Allah, the party of Allah. Which is the party of Allah? Is the servant of Allah, the pious and righteous, and the Anbiyas and the Prophets, especially say in our age, our teacher Hazrat Sahib and the company. If we leave that company, okay, yes, we are making mistakes, sins, like we were mentioning earlier. What happens is that there are people, unfortunately, we go through, we commit a sin, then that affects our amals and our activities. We end up going more and more evil. And then the next stage comes, then Shaitan puts, what's the point? You're evil. How can you be amongst the good and pious people there? How can you tell them in the majlis, show your face? How can you show your face to the teacher? You might as well just don't go. Just stay at home. It's fine, and no one's going to know. It'll be fine. And then that happens, and slowly then that goes away completely. And then you're alone, you're bored what to do, or then you end up finding evil friends as well. And you see exactly this what happens to those who actually not succeed, is they actually move away from the support. So if you at least stay with the support, no matter what weaknesses we go through, at least one day you can win over this battle with our own nafs and shaitan and so on, because the support is always there and the blessing is always coming. So the key thing is never lose that link. No matter what happens, no matter how good we are or evil are, the link should be there. The blessing coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the means and the asbab, which is the mashayikh and the teacher. If that's there, inshallah you will, again attain your victory, inshallah, we all will. But what shaitan tries to do is to severely break that link. Then the first scenario is waiting for us. And also within your own self, and also then people around you. You might know many people in a similar situation. Slowly, once you start to go about helping others, then something happens, and then you actually become better yourself. It's like the teachers who teach in school. Now, it may be in the past life when we were learning, they were not good at that subject. But because they start to teach now, and that forces them to learn the subject well, so they become good at it as well. So when they teach, they ask all the teachers here, when they teach, it's not only that they're teaching, they're also learning at the same time. And their learning and experience stays the same, or becomes better and better. So one way for yourselves to actually stay steadfast and keep away from, like I said, the negativity, is also trying to help people around you. You know many people, for example, the town that you live. Help them, advise them, at your own level, as a friend, as a colleague, as a brother, whatever. Then that will help you benefit you, because when you try to help someone else, Allah then helps you as well as in return, inshallah. Okay, Jazakallah for your time and for your feedback as well, inshallah. Ustad, that you can always consult them as well. I think time for Maghrib nearly, so you call it, inshallah. Jazakallah.